In this video, you will learn exponent on negative base. At dati nang lumabas ito sa civil service exam itong ganitong tanong. Kaya importanteng malaman kung paano nga ba ito sagutan or ano kaya ang ibig sabihin ng ganito. At para makuha natin ang tamang sagot nito, dapat alam natin which of the following gives a positive result. At dapat kabisaduhin din natin siya isa-isa. Ma'am, napaka-basic naman yan. Pero based on my experience since 2017 na lagi akong active sa mismong review group na binuo ko at pati na rin sa ibang grupo kung saan ako lagi nakatambay, napapansin ko na hindi lahat ang naka-remember sa law of exponent on negative base. Merong iilang BS Math daw, may mga teachers, iilan lang sila ha, engineers, at kahit yung champion daw siya sa Provincial Math Olympiad. Hindi po lahat ha. Few of them nakalimot na sa law of exponent on negative base. So far, since 2017 that I've been teaching this, none of them can provide legit references para kontrahin ang nasa libro ng law of exponent on negative base at lahat ng mga calculators. Now, anyway, let's start number 1. If n is equals negative 5, yung n daw ay equals to negative 5. What is negative n squared? Negative n squared. If n is equals to negative 5, ang n ay equals to negative 5. Yung n mismo ang ini-squared. So, negative 5 squared at kopyahin yung isa pang negative. Therefore, itong negative n squared, ito na siya. Kasi yung n ay equals to negative 5. Now, pwede na natin siyang isolve. Wait, i-rewrite lang natin. So, ito yung tanong, negative n squared. Ang n ay equals to negative 5. Si n ay ini-squared. Kopyahin lang itong negative. Now, negative 5 times negative 5, isa-isahin natin. Kopyahin pa rin si negative. Squared, yung negative 5 ang ini-squared natin. Now, negative 5 times negative 5, and that is equals to positive 25. So, positive 25. Now, meron siyang negative. So, ang sagot dito ay negative 25. Ngayon, doon muna tayo mag-focus dito sa negative n squared. Ang in-square lang kasi dito ay yung n lang, yung nearest lang. So, this is equals to negative n times n. So, ano nga ba yung value ni n natin? Negative 5 at i-multiply din natin sa negative 5 kasi ang value ni n natin dito ay negative 5. Kaya kapag i-multiply mo yan, that is equals to positive 25, tapos kopyahin mo yung negative, and this is equals to negative 25. Now, number 2. If n is equals to negative 5, what is n squared? N squared. Ang value ni n daw ay negative 5. Ang n ang in-square natin. So, yung in-square natin yung negative 5. Kaya, importanteng lagyan natin ng parenthesis. Kasi kapag hindi natin lagyan ng parenthesis, ibig sabihin, yung 5 lang ang in-square natin. So, this is negative 5 squared. Kaya, i-multiply natin si negative 5 by negative 5 and that is equals to positive 25. At ito yung letter A ang tamang sagot. Ulitin natin at dito lang tayo mag-focus sa n squared. N squared is equals to n times n. Ang value ni n natin ay negative 5. Kaya negative 5 times negative 5 and that is equals to positive 25. Number 3. If n is equals to 5, what is negative n squared? Negative n squared. If n is equals to 5, so yung 5 lang ang ini-squared natin, that means negative 5 squared. Walang parenthesis. Kung meron mang parenthesis, ito lang, ganyan lang siya. So, this means, this is equals to negative, yung 5 lang ang i-multiply natin by itself. 5 times 5. Nandun lang din yung negative. So, this is equals to negative 25. So, letter B ang tamang sagot. Again, dito tayo mag-focus sa negative n squared. At napaliwanag na natin ito dito sa number 1. Negative n squared is equals to negative, yung n lang ang i-multiply natin by itself. Bali, yung n lang ang ini-squared natin. So, this is equals to negative n times n. Ang n natin, ang value ni n ay 5. So, 5 times 5 is equals to 25 at kopyahin itong negative. So, this is negative 25. Next, number 4. Which of the following gives a positive result? Is it letter A na negative 8 squared, walang parenthesis, or negative 8, lahat nasa loob ng parenthesis, or itong letter C na negative 8 ang nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni-raise ng 2. Ngayon, bago natin ito sagutan, mag-review muna tayo or basahin muna natin ang grade 7 textbook. Major mistake. So, dito tayo sa major mistake daw. Students often think that expressions such as itong negative 6 nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni-raise ng 2 ay pariho daw dito sa if it is equals to negative 6 raised to 2. Equal daw siya. Ulitin natin. Students often think that the expressions such as negative 6 nasa loob lahat sa parenthesis bago ni-raise ng 2 and itong negative 6 raised to 2 are the same. Nandito tayo sa major mistake. So, bali, kahit si libro na mismo, alam niya na maraming nagkakamali nito. Kaya ang sagot niya dito, they are not always the same. The exponent applies only to the symbol immediately preceding it. So ngayon, kapag sinabing negative 6 nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni-raise ng 2, that means negative 6 times negative 6 and that is equals to positive 36. The exponent applies to negative 6. Next, kapag ito naman na nakasulat, negative 6 raised to 2, walang parenthesis or otherwise nasa labas ang parenthesis, pareho lang din naman yan. Ibig sabihin yan ay 6 times 6 lang at nandyan lang yung si negative. Kaya ang sagot dyan ay negative 36. The exponent applies only to 6. Therefore, itong si negative 6 raised to 2, is not equal to negative 6 na sa loob ng parenthesis bago ni-raise ng 2. So, hindi ito equal. It may be noted, however, that equality holds when the exponent is odd. For example, negative 6. Parehong nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni-raise ng 3. Odd number. That is equal to negative 6 raised to 3. Ngayon, kung hindi nyo pa rin gets itong galing sa grade 7 textbook para masagutan ng tama itong number 4 at number 5 natin, dito muna tayo sa purplemath.com. Simplify negative 3 raised to 2. Negative 3 parehong nasa loob ng parenthesis. The square means multiplied against itself with 2 copies of the base. This means that I'll have 2 minus signs which I can cancel. So, itong negative 3 raised to 2, that means negative 3 times negative 3, that is equals to positive 9. Now, pay attention. Pasahin lang natin ang nandito sa purplemath.com. Note the difference between the above exercise and the following. Simplify itong negative 3 raised to 2 na walang parenthesis or ilagay natin sila lahat sa loob ng parenthesis. Pareho lang yan sila. And that is, itong negative, nandyan lang siya. At ang minumultiply lang natin ay yung 3. So, 3 times 3 is equals to 9 at kinopya yung negative sign. Otherwise, maglagay ka ng 1 para may kasama lang itong negative natin. So, that is negative 1 times 9, negative 9. In the second exercise, the square to the power of 2 was only on the 3. It was not on the minus sign. Those parentheses is in the first exercise make all the difference. Now, dito tayo sa coolmath.com. Remember some term. Ito yung 3, yan yung base, at ito naman yung exponent. The first place that negative numbers can appear is in the base. What I'm going to show you now is really commonplace to mess up in algebra. So pay extra close attention. So bali itong si coolmath.com, alam din niyang maraming nagkakamali nito. Ang tanong, are this the same itong si negative 5 na parehong nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2 versus dito sa negative 5 raised to 2, or pareho lang yan kung lahat sila ay nasa loob ng parenthesis. Pareho lang yan sila. Other than some purple, itong color na purple dyan, or yung parenthesis, on one of them, I'll bet you aren't so sure daw. They are actually very different. So, let's learn what each one means. So, lahat ng ipinakita dito ay pareho lang din sa mga previous na references natin. So, hindi na natin i-go through ito. Kung gusto nyong basahin, i-post nyo na lang ang videong ito. So, balik na lang tayo sa problem natin. Number 4. Which of the following gives a positive result? Doon sa mga references natin, itong negative 8 raised to 2, that means negative out in front. Nandyan lang siya. Tapos, ang ni-raise ng 2 ay yung 8 lang kasi. So, 8 times 8 is equals to 64 at kopyahin si negative sign. Ang tanong, which of the following gives a positive result? So, hindi itong letter A. Next, Ito namang si B. Negative 8 raised to 2. Lahat naman sila nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, pareho lang din yan siya. Ang sagot ay negative 64. So, hindi rin siya. Next, itong si letter C. This is negative 8. Nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2. So, ito ay negative 8 times negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 8, and that is positive 64. So, ang tamang sagot dito ay itong letter C. Negative 8 nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2. Kaya ito lang ang positive. Now, let's do number 5. Itong number 5 ay minsan nang lumabas sa mismong civil service exam. Kaya importanteng i-review ang law of exponent on negative base. Kasi sayang din yung isang tamang sagot. Pero bago pala natin sagutan itong number 5, isa-isahin muna natin itong number 4 using our scientific calculator. Now, ito yung scientific calculator natin. Negative 8 raised to 2, and that is equals to negative 64. Negative 64. Klaro naman siguro yan, no? Next. Ngayon, kung lahat sila ay nasa loob ng parenthesis, and that is still equals to negative 64. Now, kung itong parenthesis ay dito lang sa negative 8 bago ni raise ng 2, and that is equals to positive 64. Scientific calculator. Isa pang calculator, negative 8 raised to 2, and that is equals to negative 64. Now, kung ilagay natin lahat yan sa parenthesis, lagay natin lahat sa parenthesis, and that is still equals to negative 64. Ngayon, kung ang parenthesis na ito ay dito natin siya ilagay sa after sa 8. Bali, yung negative 8 parehong nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2, and that is equals to positive 64. Klaro naman siguro no na ang tamang sagot dito ay itong letter C. Isa pang calculator. Negative 8 ni-raise ng 2. Itong mga extra automatic na parenthesis, i-delete lang natin. You see, negative 8 raised to 2, that is equals to negative 64. So, hindi yan siya positive. Next, ito namang si negative 8 raised to 2, lahat na sa loob ng parenthesis. So, itong automatic na parenthesis, i-delete ulit natin. So, that is equals to negative 64. At finally, itong nasa loob ng parenthesis na si negative 8 bago ni raise ng 2. Itong automatic na parenthesis ulit, i-delete natin. So, negative 8, nasa loob lahat ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2, and that is equals to positive 64. Now, let's do number 5. Dito tayo sa pang-civil service na style, or lumabas na talaga ito dati sa civil service exam. 99 raised to 0. Lahat ng number except lang sa 0, kung ni-raise natin to 0, that is equals to 1. So, kopyahin muna natin lahat. 99 raised to 0 minus negative 2 na sa loob ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2 plus negative 3 raised to 2 minus negative 4 lahat na sa loob ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2. Ito ay equals to 1. Now, kopyahin lang si negative sign or si minus sign. Negative 2 raised to 2, that means negative 2 times negative 2. So this is negative 2 times negative 2, and that is equals to positive 4. So that is equals to 4. Next, kopyahin si plus sign. Ang nasa loob ng parenthesis, lahat nasa loob ng parenthesis, negative 3 raised to 2, that is equals to negative 3 times 3 is equals to negative 9. Next, kopyahin si minus sign. Negative 4 raised to 2, that means negative 4 times negative 4 is equals to positive 16. So this is equals to 16. Ngayon, this is 1 minus 4 plus negative 9 minus 16. Ito ay pariho lang sa minus 9 minus 4. So 1 minus 4 minus 9 minus 16. So 1 minus 4 is equals to negative 3. Negative 3 minus 9, and that is equals to negative 12. Negative 12 minus 16, and that is equals to negative 28. So ang tamang sagot dito ay negative 28. Ngayon, dito muna tayo. 1 minus 4 plus negative 9 minus 16. Ngayon, sa order of operations or kilalang PEMDAS, doon sa step number 4, kapag addition at subtraction, we work from left to right. Kasi meron tayong addition dito. Ang subtraction at addition, they rank equally. Kaya we will solve them from left to right. Kung alin ang nauna, yun din ang unahin natin from left to right. So, kung mayroon tayong addition at subtraction lang, just work from left to right. So, 1 minus 4, and that is equals to negative 3. Negative 3 plus negative 9, and that is equals to negative 12. Negative 12 minus 16, and that is equals to negative 28. I-double check natin. Dito na lang na calculator. Pero kung kahit anong klase pang calculator yan, pareho lang din yung sagot. So, 99. Raise natin sa 0. Tapos, minus, that is negative 2, nasa loob ng parenthesis bago ni raise ng 2. Then, plus, nasa loob lahat sa parenthesis, negative 3 raised to 2. And then, that is minus, nasa loob ng parenthesis, negative 4 bago ni raise ng 2. And that is equals to negative 28. So, therefore, tama itong negative 28. Thank you for watching at all I hope meron kayong natutunan sa videong ito. For more examples about exponent on negative base, ilalagay ko sa description ng videong ito.